Hi guys, this is Max Sleepy here. This is a bit of a test video to see if we can get Empire Total War going. This will be getting recorded on the GeForce experience as opposed to OBS, which is what I would usually use. But hopefully this is all going to work out nicely and we will be able to have a grand campaign as England, of course. It's got to be England. On another one of my favourite, probably my fourth favourite Total War game perhaps, but this is a phenomenal game. Definitely could have been better. There's things I love about it, there's things I dislike about it.
Sir? Aha! Place of learning and culture.
You know, there's stuff that's phenomenal about this game. There's stuff that isn't so good.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Officer on deck. But I would argue it is a good game.
Yes.
But that is definitely a contentious viewpoint generally. But yeah, we're just going to play for sort of half an hour. Half an hour is a reasonable amount of time just for a quick test video. And if the NVIDIA capture software works the way I want it to, then happy days, we will play further. But, I believe this is the first Total War game to introduce these kinds of concepts, so research and technology. They'd obviously go on to be a huge part of the later Total War games. Empire was a bit of a forerunner. It also has probably the best naval combat in the Total War series, apart from like Napoleon. But Napoleon's just a bit of an upgrade of Empire, really. But yeah, so we are going to be playing as England. The year is 1700. We have consider this a continuation of our Medieval 2 England campaign, only we've lost huge amounts of areas. I didn't realise the Spanish started with such a huge empire. So here we have the European theatre, big old map, bigger than Rome medieval, the same area, just bigger. But if we go down here, or click on the world globe, there's also all of India. And you can march, you can just land march all the way down to India. And there's also all of this, America, including the 13 colonies. So they are currently being ruled separately. If we do certain things, if we complete certain objectives, we can actually take control of that. You've got all of the Caribbean, including Yar pirates, and then all of the Spanish Main, which is all territory that can be controlled. So a huge game, phenomenal for any grand strategist. If you love grand strategy, Empire is I think one of the best Total War games for just pure grand strategy.
Yes.
I love this game.
Oh.
But what we are going to do, so we need to
Your Majesty.
make preparations, don't we? So let's get that fleet in dock. Let's get him on the boat, and let's get a bit of an army going. With those demi-cannons in. It's obviously the first medieval game to focus on gun warfare as well, line warfare, which is very cool. So this regiment, this army at the moment, we've got our regiment of horse, our general. Sorry, that was what we can recruit. So we've got our general here. You can also demote and promote generals. You can just buy generals, which is quite cool. But this army at the moment is we've got some militia. We've got only the 2nd regiment. Where's the 1st regiment of foot?
Yes, my lord.
Is 1st regiment of foot out here somewhere? So here we go. 1st regiment of foot is out in Nassau.
Officer on deck.
We need to make sure we in the lists tab. No. Where is the commercial trade? So there's also a world market which changes, you know, the value of the goods you grow. So at the moment, sugar is trading quite high, spices are trading very high, ivory is trading very high. So India is a place you want to be. But here we have an option for a plantation for either sugar or coffee. So coffee's cheap, sugar's expensive, so we're going to go into sugar.
Ship shape and Bristol fashion,
This
Captain.
fleet just needs to hang around for a little bit. We'll get a couple of residents. We want to get a huge monopoly. That's what we're going to be aiming for. We've got Port Royal and Nassau at the moment, but we do have some quite large fleets. But we need to be careful of pirates. Piracy is going to be a real problem in this area until we take out the pirate strongholds of Trinidad and Tobago and Antigua. Once we take all those, we will be able to stop the pirates and then focus on what's going on. I generally leave the taxes as they are. There's also like huge government bits. You can see who our king is. The king doesn't do a lot really, and you can't choose your king from what I know. But you can do quite a lot with your government. So you can boot out near on all these politicians and replace them if you think they're a bit crap. So the head of government, we're going to no. This prime minister is a bit crap, so we're going to boot him. And we got a slightly better prime minister. Same with the, you can only boot so many ministers though. Our treasurer is good, which is really nice. General of the army, or our secretary of war and first lord of the admiralty are quite good. But we're just waiting for an election, and you can always hold an election. Which was quite good. Government popularity is not too bad. That's fine. Right. So we need to choose our focus. Are we going to focus on India and go to war with the Mughals? And Missouri, potentially upset the Portuguese, or are we going to focus on the Americas? And the answer is we're going to go for the Americas first. That's always my tactic when playing England, but we need to recruit some troops, but we're out of cash. This army is not too bad. What I'd like to do is get this guy down here as well. He's a pretty shite general, so we'll send him off to America. We don't have to worry a huge amount about war in Europe. Certain factions will fight each other, but you can generally kind of stay out of it. We're playing on hard here. I normally play on normal, just for the fun of it, but it does tend to get a little bit easy. So, war with Prussia already. So here we go. This all kicks off now. We are going to decline that war, however. People want trade agreements. Good. So this is obviously a period where very confusing alliances, webs of alliances, often caused issues. There's Knights of St. John from their home in Malta, very cool faction. So we've accepted a war with Poland on the side of Austria, but then the second conflict they got into, we declined because they had way bigger allies. Prussia had no allies. Oh, and the Native Americans have called us. We'll just, yeah, we'll that's fine. You will do a lot of warring against Native Americans if you want to be involved in America. Yeah, unfortunately. Right, so here we go. If you can capture Georgia, the Cherokee Territory, and New France, these are the 13 colonies, will join England and come under your rule. So that's pretty huge. So where do we actually need to take for that? Well, we need to take New France, which will put us at war with France. That's always a bit unfortunate. We only need to take New France though, so I think we just need to take Quebec. Cherokee nations, so we'll need to go to war down here, and Georgia, which is... It's embarrassing, I don't know where Georgia is. Yeah, Georgia's just down here. So basically, if we can take these provinces and New France, we will be able to absorb 13 colonies.
What do you require?
Which is pretty nice. Build up some furs. In the early game, getting your economy sorted is very, very important.
Gathering supplies.
Yeah. And we are technically at war with Prussia, which is they start like up here. So we're far away from them. We accepted it just to keep our alliance with Austria, but then it didn't matter anyway because we had to, decline and break that alliance afterwards anyway. So not really the end of the world. We still can't afford to recruit, I think, so we're just going to enter them. So if anyone watches this, it'd be really good to get some comments and feedback on how this goes, the recording, mostly is what I'm interested in, because I normally use OBS, but OBS does not play nice with Empire. If you alt-tab out of Empire, it's game over, so you have to hope that OBS records it, but you can't check, because if you try and check, Empire just crashes out. This game is notoriously bad to try and run on modern machines. Yep, so we're going to defend 13 colonies against the Iroquois. They can generally defend themselves, as history has kind of shown. Guns generally beat everything else. But we do still need to ship them out some help. Right, we are going to recruit a couple of units of line entry, the 33rd of foot. We can't even recruit pikes anymore, another regiment of horse.
Ready and awaiting orders. Ready and waiting for orders.
Yeah, we are actually going to keep that general. We're going to send 2 generals over to the Americas. Captain Kidd's floating around.
Orders, Captain.
So this navy is just a couple of sloops, a brig, a 6th rate, 5th rate. So not terrible navy,
Ship shape and fashion, Captain.
but they're certainly not going to be doing a huge amount, and that's not a particularly powerful army either. The pirates are out here. I'll tell you what, let's send our navy out to go and see if we can't catch up with some of these pirates. We've got Balthazar Worley and Charles Fleury. Yeah, you need to get a grip on the pirates, because if they strangle your trade, you can see here we're only sending 675 at the moment, but that's because the pirates are basically raiding it. but as you build your ports, there's like huge amounts of gold around here. The Spanish get very, very rich. There's also little smaller trade posts dotted around, and if you put ships on those, they trade as well. So we do want to recruit some more ships, but ships are expensive. Very expensive, so we can only at the moment get up to first rates because we need research, and we should be getting research. We've missed a couple of turns of research. So there's 3 research focuses. There's obviously your military tech, which is split into naval, artillery and army. Your industrial techs, agriculture, metals and textiles, and then your just philosophy. This is all you do want some philosophy because it helps with plantation buildings, but a lot of this stuff is just social techs basically. However, things like this, your technology research rate, are quite good. And research is done out of schools, so you can have, the more schools you have and researchers, the more research you can do. So at the moment we only have 1 school. We've got Cambridge University up here, which at the moment is just a school, but we need empiricism before we can even upgrade that. So we're gonna get empiricism researching. Actually, let's send the pikemen over as well, because the pikemen will be quite good against the Native Americans. Public order is generally not a huge issue on this game. As I said, I normally play on normal, so I'm not 100% used to what so he's coming in to lay siege to here, and all we have here are some rangers and some pikes, so this could be a problem. He may come up to Moose Factory. We might lose Rupert's Land. We'll try and hold it, but we've got no troops out there. This is one of the issues with Empire, is at the start your kind of priorities are pulled different directions, and it only gets worse the later. Oh, well, the Dutch dealt with that. Good on, boys. Yeah, your priorities only get pulled more and more as the campaign progresses. Your Empire gets bigger. Yeah, I've done sort of domination games, which are the longest campaigns. You need to hold like 50 provinces, and I've had basically all of the Americas under my control, half of India, and then been at war in Europe. And it's carnage. You're trying to balance so many things, but that's kind of what I love about it. It's such an in-depth game. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we got a couple of units of Firelock Armed Citizenry, but we are probably going to lose this. But let's have a land battle. I was hoping to get a land and a naval battle in this sort of tester episode before we get to half an hour. So let's have this land battle. So the chances are we are going to lose this quite badly. What we can do is zero cover out here. There's no walls or anything. This is effectively the settlement we're actually defending. This is Moose Factory, so not a particularly exciting place. But what we are going to basically need to do is deploy our troops as best as we can, as wide as we can. The Firelock Armed Citizenry are crap. We need our pikes out here, and you boys are going to need to skirmish as best as possible with the enemy. But bear in mind, their archers will outrange our guys. Now, if we can take out the chief, that will be quite good for us. That's what we're going to do. They've kind of headed up here. So let's get those guys going up there. Our pikes we're going to deploy kind of here. And our firelock armed citizenry. This is also, I think, the first total war game to introduce auto garrisons with those firelock armed citizenry, so just some extra units that kind of get generated. They're kind of keen, not really. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can just skirmish with them a bit. But you can see the Native Americans, their bowmen are really dangerous. They've got like the longest range. Okay, so just try and get our rangers in range of something. Their cavalry have stayed right back. Let's just take some shots, and they're going to skirmish. So a couple of bows. Typical. I didn't even get some rounds off. We're going to need to be a bit aggressive, I think. So actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to send you guys out on that flank. You are going to run. Over here. Where are you going? Over here. What on earth are they doing? Everybody is going to run. You guys especially. Let's get over here. Right. So we are now completely dependent on they might rally if we're lucky, but that is our captain's unit. So firelock armed citizenry are now shooting. Let's get the pikes moving in. So firelock armed citizenry, they put so few shots out. So we're going to need to depend on our pikemen. Rangers have collapsed, and the firelock armed citizenry will. They are better in melee, to my knowledge, but yeah, we just have more troops. Hopefully, this firelock armed citizenry, yeah, they'll shoot again. Might help, but our issue is going to be if we lose our pikemen. Great, the Rangers have redrawn. So get you guys up there as quick as you can. So you're going to be integral. Our enemies are losing slightly, but we just don't have the troops to keep that up. We're lucky we can get our rangers in position to start shooting at the tribesmen. These guys should actually do a bit of damage. They're accurate. Fortunately, the firearms citizenry are legging it. They fought well. They are just blokes. The pikes are broken as well. There's not going to be any saving this one. We have like no cav. That's the issue. There's no way to just get their general. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, okay. You guys come back. On you. Unfortunately, we just don't have the troops. We don't have the bottle. Needed some more professional troops, really. These bowmen will just blink us to death. There we go. Yeah. It is what it is. As I said, there's so many priorities that you get pulled in, you know. If you don't build up your economy, you're sacrificing soldiers. If you don't do certain things, you know. If we'd wanted to build troops here, we'd have had to sacrifice train troops somewhere else. Yeah, especially as Britain, you do get pulled in multiple directions. But it's fine. We've
March!
got some troops now.
Make ready! March! Set sail! Jump to it and look lively! On our way, Captain!
To the boats.
Right, so this fleet is going to head out to America via the mid-Atlantic. So in 2 turns they'll transit, they take a turn to transit, and then they will arrive. Okay, so the United Provinces, i.e. the Dutch basically,
Aye, aye, Captain.
did a pretty solid job there.
Awaiting further
So
orders.
now let's see.
Yes, my lord.
I actually don't see a garrison there at all. Interesting. Okay. Nassau, we're going to turn into a Port Royal's already a military government, so Nassau we're going to turn into a sort of civil government. You get 2 different options. You get like a civil and a military government. So this is Oxford. We're going to build a school there. That used to be a church, which would build up, but we don't want a church. A church isn't going to help us. We need a research. We can also upgrade here. The Opera House. The Opera House just makes the nobility happy. If we need to can't quite remember where. That's what we need to do. We need to sort some trade with people. So the Maratha Confederacy, let's do some trade. Excellent. It's good for business, and then minor nations. See who we can trade with. So Louisiana, New Spain for sure. Trade with them. So they've agreed, but they don't like us. It's fine. They don't have to like us. The Persians, can we have a trade agreement? Nope. Venice. What you can also do is you can give technology to people and present state gifts if you want to. Sorry? So they want to trade Ireland for this tiny little part of Greece. No, that will not do. People will not like that. How about an alliance though? Yeah, fair enough. Savoy trade agreement. Grammy Incarnate. Just try and get some trade going with people if you can. So everybody wants Ireland, which is interesting. I mean, we're not going to swap Ireland, which is on the up, with Iceland, which is definitely on the down. I'll tell you what, we'll take the military alliance though. Yeah, fair enough. What we should be doing is looking at trying to get some alliances sorted. So everybody's kind of either indifferent or they don't like us. We're obviously enemies with Prussia. No, they don't want that. We need to try and get some friends, basically. We're friends with the United Provinces. We were friends with Austria, but they now don't like us because we broke the treaty, basically. Lithuania, they don't mind us. But they are allied with Russia. We're not at war with Russia. Are we? No. Fancy allying? Yeah, so nobody really likes us at the moment. And we don't really have a lot of friendly peoples. The Danes? Yeah, they still don't like us enough. It is what it is. You can't help it sometimes. We are allied with Portugal. It's the oldest alliance in the world. Okay. We tried. Nobody can say we didn't try. But we'll just see what this turn brings, and then if it brings nothing, we will we'll end this test episode and see see how it recorded. If it recorded well, you'll see this video up on the channel. If it didn't, I've just played half an hour of not a very good campaign on Empire, and wasted half an hour of my life. We do need to get reinforcements over to 30 colonies ASAP though. The Native Americans are being quite hostile. Oh, what have we got? So, first ever newspaper. I've got a new daughter. Recruit some units. Yeah, don't really care about that. Saxony is gone. And Austria and France have decided they no longer like each other. That happens quite a lot. Europe is a war zone. It's an absolute battleground in this game. I did see a pirate fleet hang around here somewhere.
Orders received
See if we can
and
find them.
understood. Any orders? Haul away! Aye, aye,
Aha. So, what we'll do
underway!
is we'll just hang around here outside the pirates. They've got a galleon, which is quite a good ship.
Aye, sir.
In fact, it's a very good ship actually. That would be a dangerous fight. I think it's firepower 370. Yeah, it's a big warship. But we've got
Officer on deck.
a lot of little ships. We'll see how that goes. We might get our cheeks clapped, but we'll see how it goes. So 13 colonies, yeah, they'll probably be able to hold themselves. Sadly, Moose Factory is now friendly, and they're building up there. What we'll probably do with our armies is land. Probably want to focus on. I want to focus on taking out the pirates, I think, first. But that is going to be it for this episode. Thanks very much, guys. If this does go up on the channel, please do drop your feelings and any feedback. Let me know if you want to see more or less. We will restart this campaign if the recording looks good. We'll go for a proper campaign where I actually make some proper decisions. This is just me kind of messing around, doing a bit of testing. But thanks very much for watching, guys. Max Sleepy signing off.